Let me take you back to the streets of LA 2024. A sleek store on Melrose Place draws some of fashion's biggest names. Inside, garments that cost more than a month's rent hang perfectly spaced on minimal racks. The clothes bear a distinctive red band, a mark that becomes synonymous with luxury streetwear, a symbol that can be spotted on everyone from Premier League athletes to global music stars. But 13 years ago, this same brand started in a tiny shop on a grittier street called Fairfax Avenue. And 20 years before that, its founder was smuggling himself across the Mexican border, a 10-year-old kid with nothing but modified thrift store clothes on his back. This isn't supposed to happen in fashion, some would say. The industry's gates are meant to be impenetrable, guarded by old money, prestigious design schools, and generations of established connections. Yet somehow, a self-taught kid from Guatemala managed to build one of the most influential streetwear brands of our time. This is 424, a fashion empire built from the streets up, where every thread tells a story of defiance and every stitch rewrites the rules of the game. The year is 1995. After 7 years of saving every spare penny, a family makes the decision that will change their lives forever. Their 10-year-old son, Guillermo, is about to undertake the journey that thousands attempt but many fail, which was crossing the border into the US without documentation. The same dangerous path you've seen dramatized in countless movies and news reports, except this isn't fiction. This is the beginning of 424's story. Landing in California's Bay Area, Guillermo found himself navigating a world that seemed to shift beneath his feet. Without English, without papers, without stability, radically different worlds. One day he'd be in Marin County's wealthiest suburbs, the next in Richmond's tough streets, then off to Pentaluma's conservative enclaves. Each move was like stepping into a different America, forcing him to adapt, to observe. Back then, fashion wasn't even on his radar as a career, and this is key. His dream centered on the soccer field, where language barriers didn't matter and talent spoke for itself. The sport gave him a sense of belonging that America hadn't yet offered, a universal language he could speak fluently. But life has another way of playing. While his classmates embraced the casual California uniform of Hurley shirts and board shorts, Guillermo was crafting something entirely different. He discovered that the wealthy discarded perfectly good clothing, turning local Goodwill stores into treasure troves of possibility. He'd spend hours hunting through racks, developing an eye for quality that would later become his signature. Paul Smith blazers, Ralph Lauren Oxfords, Lacoste polos, pieces that cost hundreds, knew would end up in his hands for a few dollars. But Guillermo wasn't content just wearing these finds. From the beginning, there was something different about his approach to clothing. He'd take these high-end prices and modify them, reconstruct them, transform them into something new. Picture it, someone living inside their car, getting evicted from apartments, but showing up to school looking like everything is more than good. How? Working in secret, he'd alter oversized blazers and shirts, carefully stitching them to fit perfectly, hiding his modifications under layers so no one would even know. He was designing before he even knew design was a career path, reconstructing garments before he even heard of the term deconstruction in fashion. For him, it wasn't about following trends or making fashion statements. It was about survival, about using style as a shield against poverty's stigma. But let's fast forward to 2010. Fairfax Avenue in Los Angeles. This street is the raw nerve center of street culture in America. Walk down those sun-baked sidewalks and you'll find Supreme holding court on one corner, Diamond Supply keeping things icy on another, and A-Life bringing New York energy to the West Coast. The air smells like fresh spray paint and new sneakers. Skaters clatter across cracked concrete and kids line up around the block for latest drops. Most people looked at Fairfax and saw a finished scene, a place where the cool kids had already staked their claim. But Guillermo, He saw gaps between the cracks, spaces where something new could grow. Sure, he didn't come up skating like many of the other shop owners, but he understood something fundamental about street culture. It's not about checking boxes or fitting in. It's about bringing your own perspective, your own flavor to the mix. That's how 424 on Fairfax came to life, not as just another streetwear shop, but something closer to a cultural laboratory. If you're planning your next drop and you're not 100% sure it's ready to sell out, I got something for you. I put together a free online assessment to help streetwear brands like yours figure out if you're really set to make your next release a success. This isn't just some generic checklist either. It's built to help you understand whether your hype is real and strong enough to drive demand, how to keep your brand exclusive while building recognition, and if your plan is tight enough to actually sell out. If you're serious about making moves, hit the link in the description, take the assessment, and find out if your brand is really ready for that release. Don't wait until it's too late. Guillermo turned the space into a crossroads where different worlds could crash into each other. One corner might showcase handcrafted Japanese denim that took months to produce. Next to it, you'd find raw, limited run skate decks from Bay Area artists. Vintage European luxury pieces would share space with emerging LA designers who were still working out of their garages. The store became Guillermo's canvas, a place where he could arrange and rearrange these pieces like a DJ mixing tracks from different genres. He traveled the world, hunting down items that nobody else was stocking, building relationships with designers nobody else was talking to. Each piece had to tell a story, had to add something to the conversation. So, in a neighborhood full of stores competing to be the most exclusive, 424 took a different path. It became a spot where the kids saving up for their first real piece could stand next to a celebrity stylist, both discovering something that they never seen before. The space has no attitude, no velvet ropes, no artificial barriers, just pure, uncut creativity and the sense that you might find something that would change how you look that style forever. 424 on Fairfax buzzed with energy day and night. Artists would sketch in corners while musicians debated their latest tracks. Fashion kids fresh off the plane from Paris or Tokyo would swap stories with local designers. The space creative electricity, a constant exchange of ideals and inspiration. But in the back of Guillermo's mind, something was cooking up. All those years of modifying clothes, all those thrift store transformations, all that knowledge about how garments could tell stories, it was time to put all of it to work. 2015, while the store kept drawing crowds, Guillermo sat alone at night, hunched over his phone, lost in Google Earth. He'd zoom out until the whole world was visible, then drop pins on cities he dreamed of visiting: Tokyo, Paris, London, and Milan. Each location had its coordinates, precise numbers that marked places that felt impossibly out of reach. Still waiting on his green card, unable to leave the country, these digital journeys were the closest he could get to international travel. Then it hit him. These coordinates could be more than just numbers on a screen. They could be something tangible, wearable, and meaningful. The ideal for 424's first collection started taking shape. Inspired by the technical precision of Raf Simons' work, Guillermo began designing patches featuring these location coordinates. Each garment in the collection would carry different numbers, which would equate to different dreams. When worn together, they created a map of all the places he yearned to explore. But the collection carried an even deeper meaning. Guillermo's brother had recently been deported, creating another kind of distance, another set of coordinates making separation. The clothes became a bridge between them, a way of saying, I'm here and you're there, but we're still connected. The collection spoke to anyone who'd ever felt the weight of borders, the pain of separation, and the hunger to move freely throughout the world. See, in the fashion industry, first collections usually played safe, which is basic tees, hoodies, things that are easy to sell. But Guillermo went all in, pouring his personal story into every stitch. The pieces work together like a puzzle, each one adding another layer to the narrative. Some customers got it immediately, recognizing their own stories of displacement and dreams in the designs. Others just thought the coordinates looked cool. Either way, 424 had announced itself as a brand that had something to say, which is important because selling clothes is not all about the product. It's also about your specific story. And for Guillermo, this was it. 2016 marked peak streetwear in Los Angeles. New brands popped up weekly, each one louder than the last. Everyone wanted to be the next big thing, churning out graphic tees with wild prints and hoodies plastered in logos. The streets looked like walking billboards, but in the middle of all that noise, this brand took a different path. Maybe it came from the early days of modifying thrift store finds, or maybe from watching how people actually live with their clothes. Guillermo saw something that others had missed: the power of evolution over revolution. Instead of trying to reinvent fashion every season, he obsessed over the fundamentals. A perfectly cut shirt, a jacket that could work in any situation, pants that move right with your body, the kind of pieces you grab first from your closet again and again. His vision centered on a radical ideal. What if your whole wardrobe could fit in a carry-on bag? It sounds simple, but how dope is that ideology to even think about? I mean, think about it. Young people today, we live differently. We travel more. We move between cities. And you need clothes that can adapt in any situation. So Guillermo started building exactly that. Pieces that worked as hard as their owners did. Season after season, the same core pieces would return but slightly evolve. The team would spend months tweaking tiny details, adjusting a collar by millimeters, testing different buttons, and refining their stitching. They'd obsess over the weight of a zipper or the exact shade of black. These changes would be invisible, but for Guillermo, this constant refinement was everything. He believed that if you got the foundations right, everything else will fall into place. The fashion industry usually demands constant newness, but 424 played a longer game. They might work on the same trench coat for years, gradually perfecting it until it became something timeless. This dedication to getting things exactly right started turning heads. Fashion insiders noticed how the clothes felt different, lasted longer, and worked better. The pieces showed up more and more on the streets of Tokyo, London, Paris, not because they screamed for attention, but because they made the person wearing them feel like their best self. Local success spiraled into global recognition. Buyers from the world's top stores started booking their travel coordinates to Los Angeles, drawn by whispers of this brand that was doing things differently. And as 424's reputation grew, bigger players in the industry began taking notice. The stage was set for something bigger. Collaborations that would push the brand into a new territory while staying true to its obsession with quality and purpose. Remember that kid who dreamed of being a soccer player when he was younger? Well, his path made a different turn to come into full circle. And what would become one of the brand's most significant moves, 424 landed a partnership with Arsenal Football Club. The same kid who once thought the sport would be his salvation now found himself designing for one of the most prestigious teams in the soccer world. The partnership started as a conversation and evolved into something unprecedented, which was a 2-year deal that would reshape how fashion and the sport that they call football intersect. The scope of the collaboration pushed 424 into entirely new territory. Guillermo and his team created complete wardrobes for the club. From the sharp suits players were stepping off the team bus to the casual wear they sported during training. The collection had to work for early morning practice sessions, post-match interviews, and everything in between. Each piece needed to embody both Arsenal's historic elegance and 424's contemporary edge. And the project even caught Adidas' attention, transforming that deal into a 3-way partnership that merged streetwear energy with athletic innovation. The Arsenal collaboration opened doors that once seemed shut. Luxury brands that had once viewed streetwear with skepticism now saw 424 in a different light. Dior, the epitome of French luxury, chose the Fairfax shop for a pop-up installation. I mean, picture that for a second. The refined world of Paris meeting the raw energy of LA street culture all under one roof. The fashion world's biggest names started making space for 424 on their shelves. Selfridges, London's temple of luxury shopping, carved out prime real estate for the brand. In Tokyo, the legendary Isetan department store, where fashion-obsessed Japanese customers lined up for hours to buy their latest drops, gave 424 prominent placement among the world's most respectable labels. The brand's influence spread across continents, showing up in the most unexpected places. Like, you might spot a 424 piece on a Japanese fashion editors in Tokyo, then see the same design on a European football star stepping off a team bus in London. The brand had transcended its Los Angeles roots, becoming part of a global conversation about how people dress now. By 2022, the brand had outgrown its Fairfax roots. The pandemic forced the closure of the original store, and Guillermo saw an opportunity. He set his sights on Melrose Place, a move that would signal 424's evolution from streetwear upstart to established fashion players. But true to his roots, he created a space that felt authentic to the brand's identity. Earthy, almost spiritual, but still accessible to the kids who supported him on Fairfax. As 424's influence grew, Guillermo turned his attention to the foundation of everything, which was the fabrics themselves. Most brands, even luxury ones, typically start with existing materials, selecting them from the catalogs and suppliers everyone else uses. But those early days of transforming thrift store finds had taught him something crucial about clothing. The soul of a garment lives in its materials, so he went deeper. Instead of browsing fabric showrooms like other designers, he began developing his own textiles from the ground up. The process was painstaking, expensive, and time-consuming. His team would spend months working with mills and experimenting with different fibers, testing new washing techniques, pushing the boundaries of what was possible with cloth. They'd create hundreds of samples, tweaking the composition until they found exactly what they were looking for. This obsession with materials became 424's secret advantage. While other brands fought over the same wholesale fabrics, Guillermo was creating textiles that literally couldn't be found anywhere else in the world. His suede corduroy leather blend, for instance, emerged from countless experiments and failures. The result was something fresh, a material that looked like luxury, felt like comfort, and aged like vintage. The fashion industry has a saying that the product never lies. When someone holds a piece of clothing in their hands, when they feel the weight of it, when they see how it moves, that's when the truth comes out. Guillermo built 424's reputation on this principle. Each piece had to feel special inside your hands, and it had to reveal its quality through touch and wear. This commitment to quality and authenticity has paid off, because today 424 is distributed in over 60 stores worldwide. From print temps to Harrods, the brand regularly shows at Paris Fashion Week, with him presenting collections that blend his California roots with high fashion sensibilities. Now, what can we learn from him? Well, the fashion industry loves its gatekeepers. The standard playbook says you need the right connections, the right schools, the right backing. But Guillermo tore up that playbook and wrote his own rules. And you can see a pattern here with each story we're telling. Each individual has his own path. It's not as structured and as cut out as they make it seem. His path, from modifying thrift store finds to running a global brand and building something authentic in an industry obsessed with appearances. Again, take his approach to product development. While other brands chase trends, hoping to catch the next wave, this man zeroed in on perfection. He'll spend years refining a single jacket, tweaking details most people would never notice. This obsession with getting things exactly right comes from understanding something fundamental about fashion. Trends fade, but quality and community will always last. The usual advice about starting a fashion brand goes something like this, right? Create a logo, slap it on some t-shirts, build up some hype on social media, rinse and repeat. But Guillermo went the opposite direction. He focused on making clothes so good, so well thought out that they sell themselves. Also, he focused on the product telling a story. The red armband became iconic because it meant something. It signaled a level of quality that stood out in a crowded market. Running a store taught him something crucial about the fashion business: the importance of seeing things through other people's eyes. 424 on Fairfax wasn't just a shop, it was a research lab. Every day he watched how people interacted with clothes, what they looked for, what they ignored. This direct connection with customers shaped everything about 424's approach to design. And the challenges, of course, they came in waves. Early on, it was simple: survival. Trying to build a brand while keeping the lights on, while dealing with the complexities of being undocumented. And then later on, it was the pressure to scale without compromising quality. The fashion industry runs on a brutal calendar. New collections, new ideals, constant deadlines. Money was always tight in the beginning as well. Most brands in this position would just cut corners, use cheaper materials, simplify production, outsource it to the lowest bidder. Instead, he'd rather sell fewer pieces that were perfect than flood the market with compromised products. This dedication nearly broke the bank more than once, but it built something more valuable, which at the end of the day is trust. You can't put a price tag on that. So here's what aspiring designers can learn from Guillermo's journey. Focus on the product first. Your brand story. What is your vision? What do you want your brand to be known for? What is the lifestyle that your brand represents? And build real relationships with your community, not as customers, but as collaborators in creating something meaningful. The most powerful lesson from 424's story isn't about fashion at all. It's about who you are. In an industry built on illusion, Guillermo chose reality. He built slowly, focusing on quality over quick wins. And never forget the kid who used to modify thrift store clothes to feel like he belonged. That authenticity became his greatest asset. Looking at 424 today, showing in Paris, stocked in the world's best stores, collaborating with major brands, it'd be easy to think this was all part of some master plan. For anyone looking to build something meaningful in fashion or in any other industry, the blueprint is there. Stay true to your vision, focus on quality over quick wins, and build real connections inside your community. And never stop pushing to make things better. Trust me, the rest will follow. Alright, y'all, this is Lee from Norff Studios. Next time I'm out here.